A lot of times when we're making our quilts, we'll have these orphan blocks left over, and we can sew those together and make them into so many projects. It is the famous chicken pincushion. Mine is getting really dingy and it's about 8 years old. I've got it dated here when I made it and named it, and I'm wanting to make another, so I wanted to share this project with you. I originally got this idea from Missouri Star Quilt, and you can make them different sizes. You can fill them with different things. This one has polyfill, but this one I am going to put some weight in the bottom of it, probably some beads or rice or something, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. And all you'll need for this is a little strip about 1.25 inches wide and somewhere around 2.5 to 3 inches long. Not very long, just a short piece. That makes that little fluff right there on his head. The other thing you'll need is about a 2.5 inch square. This is another orphan square. This will be his tail, and I can fold that and make it small, and that will be his little tail. And then for his beak right here, as you can see, I've got safety pins in mine. I have a 2-inch square. It can be a little bigger. This is a little bit bigger, but by the time I fold it and make it whichever side I want to use, and if I need to, I can make it even smaller, and that will be the beak, and that will fold the raw inside. And then I have two 6-inch squares. I've squared these up, and you can go with a smaller or a larger, and so this will actually be just a bit larger than what he is, and he's the perfect size for moving around and toting whenever you're pinning your quilts. So the first thing that we need to do is we're going to put both sides together, the right sides together. Before you do that, just kind of look at it and determine which part you want to be up top and what part you want to be at the bottom, because we'll be doing some shaping here as far as you can determine if you have a pattern that you're going with that you want to be more so up top and what you want to be the bottom. So if you want, more of a color reflection a different way, and then that will, I think that'll look good. Now, when you put your right sides together, is we want to go ahead and place the little fluff that's going to be his comb right here, and you want to put that on the inside first. It's got to be pinned in between your two layers, and so you want to put it right sides to right sides, and you want to lay it about a 1/2 inch down from the corner. And then I'm going to put a pin there just temporarily while I'm working on this. Now over here we're going to put his beak. This is where his beak needs to be. So I have my piece here, and I'm going to fold it in half. And this can be a solid color. It just happens to be an orphan block that I'm using, but this can actually be a solid piece that you use. And I'm going to fold it a couple of times and determine, see if I want it to be a little bit bigger. And I believe I'm going to leave mine a little bit bigger. And you're going to once again come down at least 1/2 inch or so, maybe even 1 inch. And this is going to be on the inside of those fabrics. So we need to place this so that it is turned inward. Make sure I got, and the raw edge is going to be hanging out here outside. So you're going to lay it in between the two pieces, make sure it stays folded, and we just need to pin that there temporarily until we get it sewn down. Now at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to sew across here and down this side. So now we're just going to turn this inside out and see how it's looking, and that's looking really good. And right here in this corner, make sure you push it out really good. So now we have his top edge and we have his beak. Now we need to get his tail on this side, the lower side, And pay attention on, right there is the comb, and the beak is here. The comb is up here. And we need to sew about an inch, inch and a half, and an inch to an inch and a half here. And we need to leave this area open so that we can fluff it and put beans in it or whatever we like. And you want to back stitch on these corners. So just come in, and we're going to stop right in here so that we'll have ability to open it up. So now we double back and we back stitch right here, and we've left this opening so that we'll be able to turn it inside out. But before we do that, we've got to put on his tail, and we have to also close up this area where his tail is going to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our squares, and we are just going to bring them together just like that, just like you're opening up a bag. And in this area is where we need to put his tail. So we're going to take our square, and we're going to fold it, and we're going to fold it again so that our raw edges are going to be on the inside. And because I can see the center of my squares here, I can really easily take that seam and fold one way and one the other. So there's my center, here's my tail, and once again we're going to place it to the inside. And we can kind of fold it in half to find the center here, just to make sure. We don't want him to have a crooked tail. So I'm just going to do a finger press right there so I know where my center is. And now I can line that up with this seam. And now I'm going to sew all the way across. Okay, so I've sewn my tail in. And before I turn this out, I'm going to take and snip these corners. And just be real careful not to cut your threads. And they'll just take some of that bulk out of the corners there. I can turn him inside out. And ta-da! We have our chicken. Isn't he gorgeous? He is just beautiful. And this is the opening where I will stuff it and put beans or rice or the filler for the hamster cage or some cedar chips. You can also do, they call it like lizard bedding. And there's so many things that you can fill them with and give them some weight. And as you can see, he's just got an adorable tail. And now, once I put his filling in there and fluff him up, I can close him. And you can do that with needle and thread. Or, like this one, I am planning on putting some Velcro on this down here. And then that way I can wash this one and refill it by leaving the fluff in and just taking the bean pack or rice pack or whatever I put in here for the weight. I also have the stuffed animal beads. Now, as you can see, he looks great. He will sit. He's just gorgeous. And if you wanted to put eyes on him, you can. Some people just use a needle there. On this one, I actually used a marker and made him some eyes. And then for this part right here, I'm just going to snip it several times. And when you do that, you can fluff it up. It just makes an adorable looking little comb for them, or cut too deep. And you just do several of those little snips. And it just gives him a lot of character and personality. And then for me, I just love all his neatness. And you can just fluff him up. Fluff there, and when you get them stuffed, they are so gorgeous. And the more you use them, the more this starts taking on more characteristics. And there you go, you have your chicken pincushion. Now, if you decide to do Velcro such as I am, what you'll need to do is on your opening, even though it's small, go ahead and sew that raw edge to the inside. Just sew it down, and you'll see that right there. And then same here, because it's not enough to roll twice like you generally would with Velcro, it will be fine because it's going to be sitting all the time. Now I'm going to use Velcro to overlap, and then that way this seam will stay closed just like that. If it becomes a nuisance or a problem, I can always remove my filler, wait, and stitch it closed. But it's generally not a problem. So with that hem, if this were sitting on its bottom side and it's got Velcro, one Velcro side is going to overlap the other, and see, it will appear closed. And it's such a small opening. Mine is roughly 2 inches, maybe 2.5 inches opening. So I have my Velcro, and because I need such a small amount and I only need half of this, so what I will do is I will stitch it down on this one side. I'll cut this and then I'll stitch it down and allow it to overlap. So it'll only be stitched down to the actual raw area on the outside. The same with the buckle that I'm going to put on. And you just don't need a whole lot. More or less, you need more of the hairy area than you do of the actual teeth or loops. One that's bigger than the other. And when I do sew that in, I'll sew the fluff to where it's facing upward. So that will be buckled just like that. And it'll only be part of this. And then the other side, of course, will be the loops. And they can be either on the inside or the outside. If I do want to do that to the inside, it will still be hanging out and overlap and keep that flap closed. So I'll stitch it down there. So I've sewn my the part that's the fluff side of my Velcro onto the bottom. As you can see, I just went right back over that same stitching and allowed that enough room. My Velcro had a sticky back, so to offset that, I sewed a piece of fabric over the sticky part. And then that way, also, because it is in line with this same type of fabric, I can take this, and that will give me that extraness if I needed it. And I can just slide it on the inside to handle it better. The easy way for me is I go ahead and I Velcro. I go ahead and I place that Velcro exactly where I desire it to be. I have that extra fabric stuck in there. And that's exactly where I want that Velcro to be, and keeping it even and in line with my fabric so that when this is closed, it's closed and looks real nice, smooth, and even. To prevent that from slipping, then I take me a pin and I put my pin through the fabric. So this way when I undo it, I can go to the sewing machine and now I can stitch down in that area. And then anything on the inside, I can turn it inside out and cut off anything that might be extra. And there we have it. I have this side stitched down, and the pin held it out here where I needed it. That's just another way that you can get your Velcro overlapped. That fabric's on the inside and will not hurt anything. And that piece will stay on. Make sure that you stitch over it a couple of times and back stitch it a couple of times whenever you stop. So now, if I just pull this seam together, my Velcro and my chicken pincushion are just right. And it closes up that seam. It's real nice and clean. And this piece of fabric covered up the sticky area. Had that not had a sticky back, I wouldn't have put any fabric on it. But nonetheless, this is the bottom of the chicken. No one's going to see it. He sits good and flat and even. And the great thing is I could put some weight in there, a bean pack or a rice pack, or fix me a separate bag. Here's a weight, and this one has like sand or inside of it, and it's closed up. It's not very attractive, but it's very effective. So if you have these weights that are enclosed and you put them inside with your polyfill, it's going to hold down the chicken. And that's what I mean. I'll fill it with polyfill, and then I'll fix a bag with muslin and put me some rice or beans in it, and then place that inside as a weight to hold my chicken down. So, and one thing that I will use is these poly pellets. They're like little poly beads, and I just fix me a small pouch. I will actually sew this closed. This will be my weight, and I will place that in the bottom of my Pincushion chicken. And these poly beads are small and loose, and they're used in stuffed animals. They are good weight for something like this, where you just need a little bit of weight in the bottom. You don't need a lot. And you can use rice or beans or different things, but these poly beads do a real good job. I've used them in several different things that I've made, and they fill up an area pretty quick. You just put as many in there or as few until you get the weight that you desire, and however much you want to put into your little bag for your weight, because you don't need a whole lot of weight, but it does keep it stable when you got it and you're moving it around and shifting it, and these can lay flat and shape any way you want. So now I've sewn my bag closed. I actually did that underneath the sewing machine. And the other thing I forgot to tell you is these are washable. So if you were to say forget, you wouldn't have to worry on these poly beads. They are washable. You can throw this directly into the wash and wash up that bag. As long as it stays sealed, they're not coming out. And they are plastic beads. They're a weighted stuffing material for crafts with character. They are 100% polyurethane, and they're uniform size. They're easy to use, non-toxic, and washable. And that's one of the main reasons why I use them, and just safe. And that way you don't have to worry about washing it. If you did fill up your chicken with these and just sewed it closed, it's not going to hurt it. But I do like to use the pouch and take them out, and that way they're versatile. I can use it in other things. So I'll be putting polyfill in my chicken and my poly pellets.